This podcast is in no way affiliated with Luton Town Football Club. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are that of ourselves and ourselves alone. Warning, may contain strong language.
Keep keep striving for this religion that we preach. Keep pushing for nothing's ever right or preach. Because the time we keep on driving, it's all that much we go. The time we keep on fighting, and these colors I wear, will they soar through the skins of my soul?
Right, welcome to the Luton Town International podcast, or whatever we want to call it now. It's a vague podcast type thing. We come on, we talk crap, you listen, some of you. And yeah, for about the next hour or so. Obviously, standard disclaimer, views are our own. We're not affiliated with anybody or anything in particular or at all. In fact, why people want to affiliate with us, I really don't know. Will contain strong language and everything should be taken with a pinch of salt.
I know you and I don't want to be affiliated with you.
The feeling is mutual, Stu.
If we say we're affiliated with, like, let's say, that club down the road, can we just, like, get them into a lawsuit and stuff?
Can we not just bomb them?
Oh, true, yeah. That's possible too.
And there's the first lawsuit
Now
there.
you're talking my language.
Well, the club up the road or the club down the road, or the pretend club up the road? Both.
It would be the pretend club up the road if I was in Luton at this precise moment in time.
You can just imagine if some media actually listened on this one, it's sort of, Luton fans plan terrorist attack, and hello, CIA and MI5.
Yeah.
That's got to be the quickest we've ever got sidetracked on a podcast. Hello, it's New Season Eve.
Don't take, mate, does it?
Right, okay, there's a few things to talk about. Obviously, we start with the new training ground first, cover that briefly. Obviously, good news for the club, looks like professional facilities. Most of the new signings have mentioned it. I think they've all got identikits of, this is what to say in an interview. But yeah, Alex, positive from move forward.
Yeah, it was. It didn't start out as well because, as you know, we always have news media wanting to portray us in a very dark and shady light. But the club was very active afterwards and went out and said a few things about relocating the current renters that were using the facilities, and I feel that the club bent over backwards to facilitate that. So I really think that, first of all, it was a small. A small bad article in, was it Luton News?
The Luton News, yep.
Yeah, but the club really went out and handled that really nicely. So something that could have the potential to be a little skinned knee turned into to be something nice, and just again shows how the club cares about the community around.
Stu, on that note, the Luton News, why do they feel the need to try and find a bad angle on everything? I mean, I think one of the things they said, the Athletics Club was saying they're homeless, which has been pointed out. They aren't, they mainly train at Stockwood. The drama group said, we've got nowhere to perform, and someone else pointed out they've been playing before. And the favourite one that's comes up is the Luton Slot Car Owners Club, whatever the hell that is. They say they're being evicted. I mean, is there no news in Luton?
I'm just trying to work out what slot cars are. Is that like you?
Scale Electrics, I think.
Scale Electric type stuff. Yeah. How big a room do you need to set up a couple of Scale Electrics? I ask yourself. My old twin TCR had 29 foot of track. It's one of the largest out there. I could get that in my bedroom. No problem. What can you say? Scale Electric drivers are just inferior TCR drivers. Not very bright.
Well, I did see some. I did see someone suggesting that sort of maybe on the new ground, the sort of the floodlight halo. Maybe they could just put the track around the top of the floodlight halo. It's back to Gurney again, isn't it?
No, I suppose we could always build a Formula 1 slot car track, couldn't we?
On stilts.
Put the stadium up on stilts. Gary, change the diagram. We put up on stilts and build a slot car track underneath it for them. There you go. All sorted.
And with that,
maybe maybe we can get that theatre troupe into like training our strikers into taking a dive and stuff. You know, anything's possible. You just have to find the right combinations with these groups.
God, we would want our strikers diving and then sort of getting up in terms of, citing Shakespeare.
Anything's possible.
Go for some of that. Danny Hilton does Macbeth.
If you're new to podcast listening, yes, it does get this random most of the time. And obviously with that some absolutely seamless segue mentioning the new ground that sort of wasn't actually shoehorned in whatsoever, we actually have a planning application in for the ground, Stu.
Yeah, I know you guys haven't seen it other than like probably diagrams online and things, but having been one of the many thousands who wandered through the exhibition, not only once but twice, I've got to say, I am already a little in love with our new home. It got me suddenly excited almost. Yeah, it is going to be a fantastic ground. If it comes together the way it's designed, it's going to be full of atmosphere, it's going to be noisy. We can make it an intimidating arena. We really can. The way the old Kenilworth Road used to be, we had full sides of the pitch, you'd have the bobbers at them on one end, on one side, the enclosure going up on the other, the Oak Road end, the Kenny end. You could really get at teams, and we'll have the opportunity to do that again, I hope. And this way it's been designed, it's been put together for football fans, by football fans, and it's got the potential to expand as well if we need to. It's all good. We're not going to have thousands of empty seats, like Joker up the motorway from us.
Oh yeah, but they've got a nice shiny stadium for the Rugby World Cup.
The fact that they're going to get more rugby fans in there than they've ever had football fans is all the better.
They've never had any football fans in there. Now, Alex.
There was that time 9,000 Wolves fans turned up and become a disgrace to the game.
Oh yeah, I think I actually put a tweet up about that. Said Wolves fans hang their head and say my son had a load of Wolves fans kind of retweeting and starting me. I'm thinking, okay.
Did you get abused for that?
I did actually, yeah.
Terrible.
I know. I was just thinking, do you not see where it's coming from? Alex, something I was chatting with about Stu just beforehand, obviously saying about the stadium and it's having that something we all about the Kennels Road, the fans being on top of the pitch. One of our new signings we'll run through in a sec. Johnny Mullins said the Luton fans are absolutely horrible. Carry on. Did you see that comment?
Oh yeah, that was an interesting one. But then again, I've actually been in the enclosure when it's been boiling over. Both the Bradford game and then the 3-3 with Stuart McCall being sent off.
I remember it well. Trevor Bloody Kettle.
Trevor Bloody Kettle and their fans. When you stand like basically 1.5 meter away from the pitch, like you do at Kenilworth Road, and you actually see the fear in the linesman's eyes, and you see the opposition players like, what the hell are these guys doing? And you actually intimidate the players. There's no doubt about it. And heck, when we lost the semi-final in the FA Trophy, the second leg, we didn't lose. We just played to a draw, but lost an aggregate. I remember an 89-year-old guy climbing up into the director's stand trying to have a bout with the Mansfield board, and we're celebrating them going to the final. And Jesus bloody Christ, you can really get intimidated by being at Kenilworth Road. And if we can manage to recreate that at the new stadium, whatever name it's going to be, I really hope it's Power Court. But if we can do that, it's just going to be one of the best stadiums in the world, no doubt.
Luton, where even the old age pensioners are aggro. Brilliant.
I'll never forget that. You know how the director's box, it's a fair height up from the.
My seat in the enclosure is literally directly underneath them, so yeah, I know exactly where it is.
Yeah. And this 89-year-old guy was climbing into it, trying to get into it to have a boat at the Mansfield, and they look scared shitless.
Scared an 89-year-old.
Oh yeah. Gary Sweet had to come down and calm down the guy, and I was kind of pulling the guy down from under. They're just hilarious.
Mansfield board battered death by Zimmer frame.
Yeah, that was an awesome situation.
Isn't it terrible though that here we are as Luton Town, glorifying the fact that we scare people?
Is it?
I love it. Long may it continue. I was hoping you could stop, but no, there you go. Closure.
We've all seen Nick's mugshot, so we all know that we intimidate people just by looking at us, you know.
So the mugshot where I was holding up the ID board as well, or not? Or the one from Crime Watch?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Right, and we've got obviously been a few new signings. We're going to run through those quickly. Obviously, not quite as many as we've had previously, because let's face it, it's previous season we've signed about 30 players to our 60-man squad already. We actually have a relatively similar squad. I mean, it's a lot of youth players in there, but we'll run through them very, very briefly. So otherwise, it's going to go on for a long, long time. Obviously, two of the loanies from last season we signed, Rare and Sheehan. Good additions, Stu?
Absolutely. Very impressed with them towards the end of the season. They look quality signings. I think that we've done well there.
Alex, Glenn Rare looks like he's been played more in a midfield role, which was slightly surprised because he played a lot of his games for us at centre-back, but I suppose we're actually pretty well stocked for centre-backs, aren't we?
Yeah, and I also think that the fact that he wants to play there is probably a bit essential to it all. We had the same thing with Pelly Ruddock, who left West Ham because he didn't want to play as a central defender. He wanted to play in the midfield. So seems to be a good way to get the players to come to us because they get to play in the position they prefer to. But just wait and see what happens. I think he's tall and he can develop some ability in the tackling area and be one of those strong midfield terriers we kind of feel like we're lacking.
I think we should qualify that statement with saying Pelly Ruddock when he wasn't injured. I need to play essential midfield.
I hope the injury's over. I've got to say, Paddy Ruddock, it was sort of, even though I saw him play at centre back, he actually did a decent job there. The thought of playing at centre back terrifies me.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that we've already used the nickname the Glassman for Amari Morgan Smith. So he could be the Glassman too, or we could maybe rename him Unbreakable or something like that.
Some of you never levelled at Danny Spiller.
Danny Spiller deserves the name Porcelain Man,
Or Wanker.
Oh, Wanker, that works.
Alex. And obviously Alan Sheeran, it's kind of been a left-back most of his career, but played most of his games at centre-back, being brought in at centre-back. Would anyone be surprised if he ends up being club captain by the end of the season, or August even?
I'm not sure. I don't think he will actually. I think there's a couple of other candidates in there.
Okay, I mean, so Scott Cuthbert seems to be obviously club captain at the moment, but you would say he's kind of he's got a fight for his place. He's got obviously Mullins and Sheehan will be playing centre back. You'd have thought so. Cuthbert must be probably plays on the bench at the moment.
I think fighting for their places permanently. To be quite honest, with a smaller squad, there's going to be that much less room for error. And it's not going to be a case of you're going to get to coast it out. You're going to have to be on the top of your game every single week because there's going to be no room for error.
And I think that's why Nathan Jones wants it.
I think stronger.
Obviously Mullins, who looks a decent centre back, obviously played for promotion winning side. He's captain some of the time. He looks a good addition. From Oxford, we also got Danny Hilton, who seems to be a complete pain in the arse for opposition defenders. I'll go through Alex on that one.
Oh yeah, it looks like He really looks like a strong signing for us. He came on board. He's an established striker who scored lots of goals, so he's probably going to end up like John Shaw and all the other great strikers that come to us and have been unproductive.
Be fair, John Shaw actually got 10 goals in the season. We've had a lot worse.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot worse.
Boyd, Parkin.
I think if we're going to name all the failed strikers,
We've only got an hour.
Yeah, we only got an hour. We've got to continue. Not really. I think Danny Hilton is probably more in the probability of doing well. So now we're probably doing it just by saying that.
And Stu, he seemed to actually form a good understanding with Jack Marriott. He's kind of almost doing the donkey work. He's kind of causing a lot of hassle, but hasn't scored many goals in pre-season. It's only pre-season. But you can see those two really clicking together, can't you?
You would hope so, yeah. Well, this is what we want. We want someone who's going to create the space, by being a pain in the backside of the opposition for Marriott to get into and stick it in the back of the net. We know Jack can do that if he gets half a chance. All signs are looking good. I just hope Alex hasn't put some knockers on him.
And speaking of Jack Marriott, he's been absolute fire pre-season. I mean, an 11-minute hat-trick against Bedford. Yes, only Bedford. Another stuff, scoring after about 29 seconds or whatever it was against Brighton. 2 goals on that one. If anybody's going to get that bloody sort of, on fire song, it's going to be him, isn't it?
Yeah, I really hope that doesn't actually turn up at Kenilworth Road. I found it incredibly tedious the entire European hearing that same song repeated a dozen different ways.
Well, it was quite fun in the pubs, to be fair.
Yeah, but some of the stuff that was going on Facebook with it was quite interesting, was quite humorous. Some poor girl called Petrified, for example, suddenly got found herself the brunt of the Irish fans.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's the Irish, though, isn't it? So. Actually, sorry, no. Apologise to all Irish. We shouldn't judge you on the basis of daily. That's grossly unfair.
We've seen Creamer. He's a good lad.
He's a good lad, yeah.
So got away up. Yeah, but I'll actually have you know that the European Championship. I actually watched 5 minutes in total of the entire European Championship.
That's impressive going.
Yeah, the kickoff. They're always late games, and the kickoff is like 5 a.m. on my time, and I normally tend to be getting ready for work then. So yeah, I actually managed to miss bloody every game I actually wanted to watch. I managed to miss because I was working or otherwise engaged, and the only 5 minutes I got of it was the final, because I was running out to see if there was going to be a penalty shootout, and then Portugal scored and it was all over.
Yeah, absolutely dire final, and we don't even get penalties. I always feel a bit cheated when you're neutral and you actually don't get the penalties when it's been that bad ago. Yeah,
exactly. That's a penalty shootout. That's the drama of the whole. Instead, we get to watch Cristiano Ronaldo go bonkers on the sideline. It's like watching a horror movie unfurl in front of you, and you just can't do anything about it.
It's right. You missed him get attacked by a moth in tears.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. I don't know who was more in tears, the moth or Cristiano Ronaldo.
It'd be the fucking moth, wouldn't it?
I've got to say, I can't believe, Alex, have you not heard of a thing like called a TiVo box, for example, over there, or a digital video recorder, or something that you can actually use to record things while you're not at home and then watch them back later?
That requires me to actually have a TV, and I haven't owned a TV for about 15 years.
Okay, so what were you watching them on?
Just one. I watch it at work because at work in the kitchen cantina we have like this big screen TV where all the channels are available. So we watch European Championship final there.
All the channels?
Yeah. Not the penthouse channel.
I'm glad you knew where I was going with that. Anyway, back to the signings with some vague talk about football thrown in there somewhere online. Jake Gray, it's obviously the final piece of the jigsaw. Obviously spent some time on loan last season at where it was, but seems to be quite highly rated, and apparently the club was surprised they can actually get him on as permanent. That's what became interested. But you can see him being quite an important player, can't you, Alex?
Yeah, I can see him being a good player, but I also want to mention Isaac Vassell because I have a little bit of faith in him as well, because he, well, without being bad, or I'm actually going to be a bit bad and draw comparisons, but I see a lot of same thing happening around him that happened around Andrew Gray. He coming from Truro and having scored loads of goals there, and could possibly become a strong signing for us. He probably isn't quite ready for League Two play. Full-time
Well, not to start
right
yet,
now.
but
No, but he could definitely become a great player for us, I think.
But Nathan Jones actually made a comment, didn't he? Sort of said, if I compare him to anyone with Andrew Gray, I thought, bloody hell, there's no pressure there, is there?
Oh well, that's a big one, yeah. And Jake Gray, for me, completely unknown. I had never heard about him before we signed him. I heard about Vassell last season because I think actually Still was out trying to sign him before he got the sack, and he also tried to sign him to Dagenham Redbridge, but then we managed to pick him up for some reason.
Probably because we're in a higher league and we don't have a squad of 400.
Yeah, probably, and we, well, let's basically know what we're doing. And I also read a lot. I have a friend of mine who's a Walsall fan. Yeah, I actually have a good friend of mine. He rated Jordan Cook very highly. He didn't get much game time because Walsall plays 4-5-1, and Cook is an outright striker, and they had a striker that was on fire, so Cook kind of got a bit neglected, but they felt he could do really well in a 4-4-2 formation.
I mean, I think, Stu, Jordan Cook said his favourite position is kind of central or up front. Realistically, he's going to be fighting with Cameron McGeehan or out in the wing, isn't he?
Well, yeah, if you think that Marriott's going to be in his preferred position, which is going to be in the middle, and Hilton, if he's going to be there in the middle, Gray's he's going to have to, accommodate the fact that he may be floating around on the flank somewhere as part of a three-man forward line, or working behind the front two, but switching wide on possibly on occasion. He's not going to be. I don't think he'll be. But you never know. It will depend on Nathan Jones decides to. I think his tactics will possibly vary from game to game. He's a guy who assesses what the opposition do. He strikes me as a very clinical man. He looks at the game that's there, and what he wants to do with it, and he looks at what the opposition do, and he will make his plans accordingly. He's not one of these guys who's got plan A and then plan B and then that's it. He will adapt and overcome.
Well, plan A would seem to be from pre-season be a diamond formation, wouldn't it?
And the only thing I'm worried a little bit about is that we're having an abundance of strikers this season. We have Hilton, we have Cook, we have Mikael Smith if he ever gets injury free. We have Jack Marriott, Saint Bampton, McCoy, and Vassell. And I'm a little bit worried that all these strikers, well, they're obviously not going to get to play all the time. And strikers are a bit like goalkeepers, in my opinion. They thrive on confidence. They thrive on getting to play a lot. And if you're going to do a lot of chopping and changing around with the strikers, I'm a bit worried you might end up with a lot of strikers without any goal-scoring confidence. And then we're back to square one, where we have this abundance of chances, but we aren't able to put them away, and which was tragically a big thing last season, and that could be a problem.
Well, not scoring goals is a problem.
Zane's not going to be starting, so I don't think you necessarily have to worry about him as in the strikers because he will get game time. Like, Josh, well, he's not an out-and-out striker. He's one of those creative guys that you have on the pitch, and he'll play left, right, or in the centre. So I don't think necessarily need to include in the strikers as such. That sounded like a beer can out in there, Perry.
Yeah, and? How do you know it was me? It could have been Alex.
Call me psychic. It's 5 o'clock in the morning where he is, and I don't think even he's that bad.
Alex, are you that bad?
I only drink hard liquor this early in the morning.
Yeah,
Fair play. One signing we haven't mentioned is our senior goalkeeper at the age of 20, Christopher Walton from Brighton. Obviously comes very highly recommended. Has been in the England under-21 squad. Rather worryingly, he said he's targeting more call-ups in the under-21 squad, which is going to leave us with Craig King or Gooch, isn't it?
I found that. I was kind of laughing to myself when I heard that because, yeah, that's going to be the situation. He's going to go to under-21 and then we're going to end up with 2 very young goalkeepers instead. And I'm really worried about that situation there. I'm really worried that we actually haven't signed a permanent goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper we signed is going to be busy with international duties.
It won't be that often, I wouldn't have thought, but it was. There is that, but then he's thinking, okay, Craig King's very highly rated, and obviously Gooch is kind of high rated as well, and I think it's part of the Nathan Jones philosophy of trying to give players a route to the first team, because you've got 2 young goalkeepers and you've got 2 goalkeepers ahead of them. Those young goalkeepers are never ever going to play, and then you lose their potential. So I don't have a major problem with that, actually.
Well, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and to some extent I do agree, but well, I've always been one who say we should put out players and give them some game time, but when it comes to goalkeepers, I actually do prefer having established goalkeepers. And as you said, we have a 20-year-old being our main goalkeeper right now, and I think King is 19 and Gooch is 18.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yep.
I'm a little bit concerned, but well, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? We've had good success with older goalkeepers before, Beresford and of course Mark Tyler, but we'll just have to wait and see how these guys get on, I guess.
I think the main.
Was that another beer can opening? Jesus, guys, you guys are so much getting thirsty.
It's Friday night.
That's Terry's fault.
I get a blame for anything, don't I?
I have a can
I
of
was
Pepsi,
perfectly
guys.
fine until he opened these cans, then I needed one.
So I get a blame for telling you it's an alcoholic. How does that work?
Yeah. Anyways, we haven't spoken much about Mullins, which I feel is going to be another really strong signing for us. I feel that with the confidence he has from a strong season at Oxford, he's going to do well for us, and we're going to see him in defence a lot. So really looking forward to get to see him play. Yeah, we will actually get to see them play on TV quite soon, won't we?
Oh, I get to see him play tomorrow. If I'm sober enough to remember it tomorrow.
You don't actually fall asleep by the time you get to the ground. I think it's actually good when you pick up on a couple of players from a team that's just won promotion.
Yeah, that winning feeling.
We were in the conference, we picked up, for example, Ronnie Henry. We picked him up from Stevenage. He just won promotion. But he's dropped back down a league, and because he's done that thing, he's won it. It just gives that bit of experience, and he's obviously going to be full of confidence as well, having had a good season before. So a couple of lads that are full of confidence that come in that have just got promotion out of the division. I think that's actually a good bit of experience in there. That's handy.
Well, actually, the 2 Oxford lads when you saying that, obviously Hayden Mullins was released, so we thought, right, it's a good step on there. Danny Hilson was actually offered another contract, wasn't he? And he dropped down to whether he knows of a bigger club or I think Oxford would basically suggest. Oxford was suggesting yes, we gave him more money, Yeah, fair enough. We can pay more as well. Got no issue with that. Couple of other players' news. Obviously, Paddy Ruddock, one of the few players to be signed offered a new contract after the cull of May. He's got a new contract now. If he stays fit, he could be a huge player for us. That's a big if, though.
Yeah, we've all seen Pele when he is fit and he's on top form. He is one of those. He is a force of nature. Players are terrified of him. He's strong. He's fast. He does occasionally look like a drunken heifer the way he runs. But, his feet just seem to go everywhere. It's a bit like Faustino Asprilla. No one ever knew what Asprilla was going to do because he never did. But yeah, he's got that strength, he's got that pace, he's got that directness, he's got a bit of skill there as well. And you put all that together, and he gets his head down, he just runs, and he terrifies people.
And he's got a very delicate shot in him as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a very gentle shot. And he terrifies people. And I guess the stage, the only way they can stop him is to constantly foul him, which obviously means they start picking up hookies, so he just gets angrier.
Or injured. We'll go for angry rather than injured, so.
Yeah. I'd rather he got angry than injured, yeah. But yeah, you see these days, the more angry he gets, the more he runs, the more he scares them. So yeah, he could be a massive influence out there, and I think he'll actually have more influence out there if he stays fit than Sharon Best will.
I actually think he has a lot to prove as well. Granted, the last 2 seasons hasn't been his finest, and this new contract probably gives him that chance to prove himself. And I really think that this season is make it or break it for Paddy Ruddock.
Don't say break it around him.
Oh, well.
Speaking of broken players, Nathan Doyle appears to be injured again.
Yes, I think it was his Achilles.
I can't remember. It was probably something different he hasn't done before. But for player of the season, the first season he signed for us, he's hardly played since. It's obviously he's under contract. You can't do much about that. It's unlucky for him.
It all stems back to that one game. I've forgotten which team's game it was now. But he picked up an injury in the second half. He was obviously injured, but we didn't have any subs left, and there was just no way he could come off the pitch.
Was it York?
We'd already lost. Yeah, and absolutely crippled himself that night playing. And I think it all stems from there, because he's not been the same since. And I actually think he did himself some serious injury that night, a long-term injury that not necessarily massive in itself, but has created so many complications from it that I actually wonder if he will ever be properly able to play again.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? And he's been a really good asset to the club. It would be great to have him back in shape. But yeah, he hasn't been the same. Last season he was injured a lot, and I don't think we'll see him on this side of Christmas playing in a Luton shirt. Might get some reserve time, but I don't think he'll be ready for it till after Christmas.
He won't be first team. Then, of course, obviously his position, there's some serious competition. You've got you've got Rare, you've got Ollie Lee, and so Backinson is going to be I think he's going to be pushing hard for us to place as well.
Yeah, but you kind of revealed something that from last season when we had an abundance of central midfielders and actually ended up needing them. This season we have a lot less of the central midfielders, so I really hope we won't be needing to pull people back early from injury to put them in. But yeah, it seems like it's a thinner, more
streamlined
lineup right now, and the squad is smaller. Actually, we do kind of still have just as many players as we had last season. There's a few we haven't been able to move on, which is kind of on a scrap heap anyways. But we will also include a lot of youngsters into the first team, and I think that's a good thing because they bring in that young, eager, wanting to play and wanting to perform, which kind of pushes on older people because they're starting to feel the pressure from the youngsters. So I actually think it's going to be a good mix between young and old in the squad this season.
Since you mentioned the young players, I mean, I think we've now got 6 or 7 or 8 or something of last season's youth team on contracts. I think Gavin mentioned last season, it was, could have been the conversation there, he said no more than 3 of the youth team will get professional contracts. I think Ford already signed at that point, but Stu, the amount they got contracts in there, it's great, isn't it?
It is. It's not only testament to the great job our youth set up doing, and everything that went has gone through that with Solid and everything else in the past, the way we kept the funds going into it, and the way, you've got to say that some of the sales at the club base that keep money going into it, like the Corley Woodrow and the Silver brothers and David Molly, etc. People criticise them for that, but we've reaped the reward now, because if all of those 7 guys go on to make it into the first team, that's 7 signings you don't have to need, and that's 7 kids who have grown up the Luton way, and who will be as big a part of our club as our fans are. So that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant, especially as one of them is my mate's kid.
I was about to get on to him. I saw the game against Bedford, which was it's one of those games. Everything we did pretty much went in. It was Bedford must have known what the hell was going on there. But yes, James Justin. It was he was playing right back or right wing back, and I've got to say he looked very, very good. He was getting forward. He was crossing. He was taking people on. And yes, I know it's Bedford, but he looks a really good prospect, and I think Stephen O'Donnell has got a big fight for his place, judging from that.
Yeah, James is young, I admit, and I am biased. I will admit it now, but yeah, he can stick in and defend as well. He can do that, he can tackle. He's got a good head for the game. He just needs to do what they've all got to do. Youngsters keep working, keep pushing themselves. Don't let it go to their head. How many players have we seen over the years who have had the talent and the ability, but for whatever reason have just got too far ahead of themselves?
Adam Watkins.
Well, actually, yes. Adam Watkins was actually one who was playing for Bedford against us in that team, wasn't he? Bloody hell, that's where he is
it's
now.
like Hugh McCarney was turning out for Dunstable the other day, and there's a guy who everybody thought was going to be playing at least in the Championship a couple of years ago. Within a couple of years. Yeah.
The problem was with them; they never got a chance. They never got a chance in the first team, and they were based.
There's a lot of other stuff that goes on around. There's people suddenly think there is.
And there's no doubt Danny Spiller got in Adam Watkins there and kind of ruined the player. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Well, I did actually see a comment on Watkins that was interesting. He said he got nerves. Someone said he actually got nerves attacks before a game, and he actually didn't enjoy being a professional footballer, which I suppose does happen if you get nerves. If you get nervous before or something, you're not ever going to do much. And so, if he basically, I think maybe as a result of that, that's why he kind of dropped into non-league where you can play for fun without any pressure on. And you think, okay, if that's the case, that's fair enough.
I have never met a professional sportsman who's ever said they didn't get nervous before anything, before a game or a match or whatever it was. If you don't get nervous, that's the time to give it up.
Interesting.
I just find that. I just find that amazing. If you get nervous before a game, you can understand that. You're involved in it.
Yeah, but again, in my opinion, it has a lot to do with how these players are as a person and how a footballer, generally they want to break through. They want to get up there. They want to play with the first team squad. They want to have their picture in the paper and all that. And they gotta get a chance. They gotta get a chance to prove themselves. And if they don't, they just kind of sit there idle, waiting for an opportunity that never comes. They start getting distracted by other things, and soon they'll end up playing for Dunstable or Bedford. And in a way, it's kind of sad to know. We also had the last game before the season. Was it Hitchin who played?
Yeah.
Yeah. Zach Barrett in goal for the Canaries. And he also used to be a pretty good goalkeeper that everyone thought when when he was under Beresford, he was getting a lot of tutoring from him, and everyone thought that he was going to break through as well. And now he plays for Luton Town, and it's sad because they never really got a chance for it.
Yeah, but it's not just the case that it's not always the case that they don't get a chance. Some of them just reach a plateau, in terms of their
course.
ability.
Yeah, I'm not saying
they just flatten out and they don't go any further. Others have got the potential to go further, and sometimes they don't give us the opportunity. At the same time, they've got to push for that opportunity. And I think in the case of Newman Carney, he got ahead of himself, but I don't think it was necessarily down to Newman Carney. I think there was a lot of people around him who were pushing him more than
parents
before he was ready. I think that fucked his career. There's no two ways about it. I think Adam was possibly the same way. I mean, I was when Paul Furlong was playing at the club. I remember talking to Furlong as I was working there at the time. This is a bloke who was 39. He was in absolutely brilliant condition. You got to say, he was absolutely superb condition. I actually think, do you still feel it as much as you used to when you first started? Does it still get you? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, if I'm not breaking myself before a match, there's something wrong.
Well, I think after his home match, being in some of the Watford connection, he probably was breaking it, but.
And you also got to remember, you have a youth team squad of about 18 players, and maybe one or two, and if you're really lucky, 3 of them will go on and play for the first team, and that's through maybe 3 or 4 years while in the youth team. But the odd thing about that for us is that we haven't had anyone really come through since Jake Howells.
Well, Zane Banton's semi-come through, hasn't he?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't really. He's been on the fringes, just like Newman Carney was, and who then went on and turned into nothing. And same as Alex Lacey, who was really rated highly, but then
hang on, rated highly by Gav. Let's.
He was rated highly by a lot of people.
I will say this now. Alex Lacey was highly rated by everybody at the club and a lot of the fans. You've got to remember who was the manager at the time he was at the club, and I think that didn't help, to be quite honest with you. Alex had all the talent. Again.
But I mean, Alex Lacey, even if you say that Alex Lacey is still in the Football League, so therefore, as a youth product, he has become a Football League player, hasn't he?
Yeah. But the sad thing is, he didn't become it for us. You have you've had this tendency for us that they either get sold off really quickly, even before they get to break through into the first team, or they break through somewhere else.
I think the selling thing was all back in the conference, though, we needed desperately to fund our youth out because the FA cut all their funding and the Football League cut theirs. So we had no choice in that. We had to find a way of getting out the future of our club going.
And I think also when you have the likes of when you have likes of Liverpool coming in for 16-year-olds, that's if they're offering silly money for them, you can keep the others, which has proved dividends. And then David Moyes, this is. And then basically David Moyes ends up sort of, down about Conference South level at the moment, hasn't he, or lower?
I think Boreham Wood was.
I think so. Yeah, I think he got loaned to Boreham Wood or something from another insignificant club. But yeah, I see your point, Stu, and I do agree to some extent that we needed the money. But again, it's as a fan, and I'm just speaking from a fan point of view. It is frustrating to see that none of our youth players are coming through the ranks and getting to play for the first team. And it kind of for me, it kind of feels like we have a whole squad of rent-a-cops that's been brought in to do a job for us, and they only do it for the wages. They don't do it because they feel anything for the club. They don't do it because they care about the fans. They just do it for the wages, and maybe to some extent that's the most frustrating thing about not having Luton youth products come through.
But I think this season we've got a lot of them come through.
It's funny when you hear people talking about players are only in it for the money. Let's face it, all of us only go to work to get some bloody money. We don't do it necessarily because we love the company we're working for, right? Or we think it's the greatest thing in the world and we're its greatest supporters. But then that's the thing about football fans. We're all slightly completely and utterly irrational when it comes to the football team we support, aren't we? You know, we expect the players to bleed orange, blue and white, or black and white, or purple and blue, whichever set of colours you prefer. And no, we're not talking about kits, Alex. But, you know, it's strange, isn't it? You know, as fans, we ascribe emotions to players that we completely ignore when it comes to our own jobs. You know, and at the same time, we don't have 10,000 people on our backs if we cock something up on 20 past 3 on a Saturday afternoon. It's a strange old game, isn't it?
I mean, speaking obviously on the youth players, which we'll move on in a sec, but I think, Alex, obviously you've been concerned that we haven't had youth players breaking through. I think this season we will. This season, if you look at it and that youth squad, the amount of professional contracts going out, I think we've got a lot who will make the step up. So this season, just a quick question, which players, if any, do you think are the most likely to make a breakthrough, make a decent amount of first team appearances? For me, it's going to be Beckinson, who looks a bit like Carlton Palmer with the legs, but he can get stuck in. He's a decent passer, he's a decent tackler, and he can drive forward as well. Or James Justin. Stu, you're going to say James Justin, aren't you?
I was going to say James, and I was looking at all the reports I've seen. I was going to say Beckinson as well. From everything I've heard about it, he looks like he's going to be a phenomenal talent. And there was another young lad who was playing alongside him. His name was completely forgotten now. Oh well, never mind. Such is life.
And Alex, any thoughts? Anyone who can break a breakthrough?
Well, Beckinson, obviously. It's interesting that he's been given the shirt number 27 as well, which I kind of feel is it's a bit like shirt number 19 when Howard had just left. That everyone kept looking for who got shirt number 19, and now everyone's looking who got Andy Gray's new shirt, old shirt number.
I'd never even thought of it like that, actually, but
yeah. But I also think that we might be seeing more of these young goalkeepers we have, and that's really going to be interesting.
So I think it's actually looking quite good on the youth squad, on the youth side of things anyway. And plus, I think someone said the ones coming through are actually even better. Another issue, which is probably on the youth team, again, this is a rumour I saw, but someone said we've actually turned down £1 million worth of bids for our players over the summer. Now, those players, the ones I could see it being would be Jack Marriott would be the obvious one. Cameron McGinn, maybe had some bids. Beckinson, I think the fact he was 17 and tied down to 3 years contract, I think he was probably attracting the biggest bids of the lot.
Yeah, it just goes to show, unlike a couple of years ago when we desperately needed money for the budget for that youth setup, we didn't need it this time round, so we could afford to say. Anyway, so.
Got the money.
I actually think Marriott probably attracted the highest bid, but yeah, it's good to see that people are interested in our players, but we're also able to say no. And that's really refreshing.
And talking about young players, Jack Marriott, who just signed his 3rd contract extension of the year, he's actually only 21. So we talk about youth players. He's not exactly old himself, is he?
No, but he's been around for a while at Ipswich, having come up through there. So it's strange that you look at these guys. I mean, like Jake Howells, he was on the pitch when he was 16, nearly 10 years at Luton. It's phenomenal. You see these kids out there and you forget, when they're 23, 24, they've already been playing 7, 8 years, some of them, at a club. It's a strange game, isn't it?
Anyway, sir, a couple of other points to move on because we want to try and keep this about under an hour, which I think we're probably going to fail miserably now. We have the excitement of the EFL trophy, or whatever they call it now. Does anybody not see it as a complete fucking balls up surprise by the league and the Premier League? It just seems to be we need to give these young players a chance to play in the Premier League, and then half the Premier League clubs, oh no, we don't want to enter that. we'd rather concentrate on the under-21 league where they don't get a breakthrough. Was this some really half-baked idea to try and get players in or get some extra cash and then maybe try and get B teams into a back door? And it's backfired absolutely massively. Alex, from an outside, well, not an outsider, but obviously sort of overseas, you get some of the media coverage. What's your take on it?
Well, the EFL Cup, first of all, is the League Cup, so...
the Checker Trade Cup now, I think it is, actually, or the Checker Trade Trophy.
The Johnson Paint... Oh, is it changed from Johnson Paint?
Yeah, it's now called the Checker Trade Trophy.
Oh, my God. I just hope that some decent brand like, Homer's Hardware Store or something else will come in and sponsor one of these leagues, so we have like a proper name to give it. So that just sounds like rubbish.
It just sounds so completely and utterly non-league, doesn't it? The Checker Trade Trophy.
Oh yeah, like yellow high West Cup or something like that,
We don't mention yellow.
Sorry. That's orange high West. What can you say? It just never fails to amaze me how desperate the Football League and the FA can get when they want to try to be creative and do something to get talent into the Premier League and get talented English players into it. When you look at these youth squads that these teams that got invited into the league, FA, fucking whatever
you call it, yep.
When you see that their squads are filled with probably a lot of Spanish and Italian and French and African talent, which is fine for I don't mind that because if you're a good football player you deserve a chance wherever you are, but the motives they're putting behind getting these players in has nothing to do with reality. It's just completely lost on me that they think that the English squad is going to be better because 8 or 10 top division or championship division sides get to have their youth times in a cup that absolutely nobody cares about.
Well, then you got complete mismatch as well on the rules.
I think the teams in League 1 and League 2 care about the Checker Trade whatever trophy. But the whole thing about developing English talent, national talent, that was the whole premise behind the Premier shite in the first place.
Which has completely sent the whole national team completely backwards. So
so they've not learned. All that's going to happen is these teams are just going to field youth teams full of foreign national players. Exactly, Arsenal are a prime example of a youth setup that does nothing but import talent from around the world instead of looking at the UK. It's a fact. If you constantly look elsewhere, right, you will always find someone slightly better than somewhere else, okay? But, so you cherry pick from here, you cherry pick from there, you cherry pick from there, and all you're doing is cherry pick one of your regional hot talent from a continent somewhere, and you completely ignore everything else around you. And they've been doing it for decades. It's not done the game over here any good. And
send it backwards, actually. It's kind of...
any good.
Yeah, none of the national teams actually in the UK at all, actually, so...
it's actually doing foreign national teams the world of good.
Oh yeah, it's great. I think you can see the results there. It's
all their players are getting loads of game time, loads of money, and they're making millions out of it. The fact that the Belgians absolutely utterly cocked up against Wales was just a highlight of the fucking Euros. The team that everybody was touting is the best one in the cup night got absolutely absolutely brilliant.
I mean, actually, staying on the Checker Trade, whatever, it's for a minute longer. The qualification rules. I mean, the league clubs or some League 1 and 2 clubs are still got the same rules. You must have 6 players who played the last game, or 6 players who played the next, or a combination. So basically, 6 who stand the first team there. And the invited Premier League, Championship, and anyone else, which actually doesn't include Watford because their academy doesn't qualify, which is amusing in itself. The club's showing they're completely sold out. They don't need academy, they can actually loan players in, that's the way it goes. Still a bit of a sort of rant on them for no reason whatsoever. Well, for for every reason. But it does kind of prove thinking, right, so how does that develop stuff? You're saying you must pick a strong team. You must pick an under-21 team. I'd much rather play our under-21s against our under-21s. I think our under-21s would be rather quite good against them. And we'll go to Alex. Yep, go.
Well, you didn't say who wanted to comment there.
Oh, I thought one of you might jump in, but
yeah, well, judging by last season's accomplishments, our under-21 team would probably beat half the championship.
so that there.
No, I'm here. I really think that for the EFL clubs, like there's a minimum of 5 first-team players starting, and for the United, they have 6 of the starting has to be under 21, which technically means they can put 5 very experienced players into the squad. And well, I'm not going to say they're going to win, but the rule actually states that the 6 of the starting 11 has to be under 21. So you can technically, at half-time, put in another 3 first-team players, and then actually have quite a strong team if you're like a championship side and feel like winning something this season. That's actually a possibility.
Okay, so again, they cocked up completely on that one because it's not kind of the Premier League stuff. And the other way they cocked up as well is they say, right, okay, they regionalised it, but I remember the way they've done it. Like Portsmouth, I think, have got could be Reading or could be someone else under 21s. When if you're actually going to try and make it look like a success, surely you'd put Portsmouth against Southampton under 21 because a Portsmouth fan couldn't resist the game against them any more than we could resist the game against Beeston Watford.
Well, we got West Brom.
Yeah.
How the bloody hell that work? West Brom, Villa, Birmingham, chuck all them in together. There you go. That's 3 matches that'll get everybody going, regardless of what competition it is. But Luton. I've forgotten who the other 2 we got. I think it's Gillingham and Aldershot or something ridiculous.
Millwall.
No, the other one's Millwall, and that game's not be fun.
No, it's nowhere near as much fun as they used to be. I'm not sure.
Hey, we should invite Millwall to be the last team to play at Kenworth Road because we need some help to get the seats moved from Kenworth Road anyways.
Yeah, fair enough. Bring them by, so. Well, it's like I think it was should have invited Scotland to Wembley before they took that down. Same principle. As Villa was mentioned,
we always took all the seats and the goalposts in 77 didn't need anymore.
That's fair enough. Where are those goalposts now? Can we have them back?
No, I would love to know where they went. To be quite honestly, that'd be brilliant.
Speaking of Villa, Alex, the League Cup, we've got to buy to the next round, it seems.
Yeah, we sure do, and it's going to be grand. We're actually going to get ourselves see our players on television, wandering around Kenworth Road, getting through to the next stage. That's going to be great.
Stu, Villa, you'd have thought would play an under-21 side. Is that actually going to be any worse than their their full side?
It's been funny. Some of the comments that initially rolled out from Villa fans and the drawers announced about, oh great, we're the underdogs in this one, and referring to themselves. If we get at them early, confidence in their squad is going to be low from the end of last season. You could tell they didn't want to play, they didn't really care. We get at them early and get a goal up on them, and I think we can. I think we actually, not only can, I think we will do them over quite easily. Because they're not one of those scalps, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's not really a scalp. I mean, they're a nothing team nowadays, but it's his story. Yeah, but I think it's.
Well, they're in the championship. There'll be a couple of divisions above us, so yeah, they'll call it a giant killing because they're a big club, aren't they?
Well, Villa are absolutely in a no-win situation. If they win, well, yeah, fine, you win a game against a side in League 2. If they lose, Villa, European Cup winners, lose to a side in League 2. They could just go, no fucking
shit. European Cup as well.
Yeah.
We have been banned thanks to those Scouse bastard.
Right, moving on to a couple of others. Going to go through some predictions quickly. Starting lineup. We're going to go to obviously tomorrow. Anybody not think the back five is going to be O'Donnell, Walton, Mullins, Sheehan, and Potts?
I'm a bit doubtful about O'Donnell, but other than that, yeah, probably.
That's fine. What, you think it'd be Justin would start instead?
Wouldn't surprise me if we see something different.
I don't think James is quite ready yet, so no, I can't see him dropping O'Donnell just yet. I think James will get a run out at some point.
Oh, well, at one point, yeah.
Yeah.
Up front, I think Hilton and Marriott, obvious set pairing, isn't it? Again, any disagreements?
No, looks good.
Midfield, the four I would see starting would be Rare, sort of, defensive midfield, McGee into the diamond, and then you got Pelly, and I would say Gray or Cook. Probably Cook to start with because Gray's only just joined in midfield. But 4 out of those 5, Stu, do you think there'd be any different?
I have no idea what the midfield's going to be.
Okay.
Simple as that. There will be 4 players in there, possibly. Maybe 3. I don't know. It all depends what formation he goes with. Who knows?
Alex.
Maybe even 2.
Yeah, I got to say the midfield is a bit of an X factor now. Really don't know how that's going to turn out. You also obviously have Glenn Ree is capable of playing there.
Well, I've got him in the 4. I think we'll start. I mean, obviously, the Ollie Lee. Yeah.
Jonathan Smith, another possibility. Ollie Lee. Yeah, the midfield is a bit of a X factor for me at the moment. I honestly couldn't tell you how the midfield will look.
Okay, we'll do a couple of predictions for the season before we move on to the questions because we're about to go over our hour and I don't know how much YouTube will let us upload. But Alex, top scorer.
Marriott.
Stu.
I don't think there's going to be any argument on this one. This is going to be a unanimous decision. I think it's going to be Marriott, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, same. So Jack Marriott times 3. You can get 16-1 being the league top scorer, which you could see happening the way he's playing at the moment. And the other one I'm going to go for is player of the season. I'm going to go completely on a limb here. I think it's going to be Mullins. Stu.
Possibly.
This means, Alex, I'm giving you a chance.
Sheehan.
It could be Sheehan. Which means, Alex, you've had longer thing. Alex.
Oh,
Come on, I gave you time to think about it and everything.
Yeah. I'm going to go McGeehan.
Oh, Gav is going to hate you.
He's going for Sharon Beck.
Yeah, this McGeehan, he's just so full of confidence this season, so I actually think he's going to do really well for us.
Okay, so that one definitely wasn't unanimous. Right, I think we've got some fans' questions if I can find them, unless you've got them up, Alex.
One moment, and I'll have a small look. Okay.
Again, this is completely sort of, unedited, sort of, you have it as we record it type thing, because none of us can be asked to edit, or know how to, in fact.
Yeah, I got up like 10 minutes before we were supposed to be recording, so give me a break. Alright, Tony Griffin says, I hope some of these new signings has the passion that Jake Howells had, not convinced by his departure. Anyone want to comment on Howells leaving?
Well, I think Shannon's comment afterwards, straight in the same post, was why the Howells loving a very average conference player, and that's being kind. A little bit harsh, Shannon, but I think I mean, he's been a good servant to us, but at the end of the day, it's, if you would you have signed him coming in? I mean, he easily signed him. I think probably the Streamline squad, there probably wasn't a place for him there.
Stu?
I was sad to see him go, but we move on as we've always done. So yeah, you can't deny Jake, commitment to the club over the years and his work rate and his effort, and he stuck by us when he could have gone a few times previously, and he put all the effort. So if every player shows that sort of commitment, and it's what you want, then yeah.
Personally, I think Nick knows where I'm at on this one. I really thought they should have kept him on for another season, even so, just to maybe give him one more chance to prove himself. He's been a Luton lad through and through, and it's really sad to see him go. But then again, some of these new signings, a lot of them are complete unknowns to me, and it's going to be interesting to see them and see how they develop and see how they fit in that league. Alright, moving on. Shannon Lewis asks, do you think Nathan Jones will continue with the John Still tradition and start off slow? After all, we're all slow starters.
I think if we lose tomorrow or draw tomorrow, Nathan Jones will not be saying my team starts slowly. I'd say during pre-season, Nathan Jones is going to be going for the complete opposite. So I don't know how to work out results, but we're certainly not going to be sitting back and say, we'll lose the first few games. If we do, then we do, but I don't think Nathan Jones is really going to accept that. So I think Nathan Jones is going to depart from tradition now, if he can.
Yeah, I do not think Nathan Jones understands the concept of a slow start. I get the distinct impression his philosophy is going to be pull out from the first minute to the very last minute of the last game. There's not going to be any passengers. There's not going to be this, we start a bit slow, we build up towards it, we finish strong and all that malarkey, and we're just going to be in the pack and in the running. And no, he wants to be out there ahead and, walking away, running away with it.
And
I kind of get a feel that Nathan Jones is more like a non-nonsense type of manager who speaks his word no matter what, and he will criticize a player if he plays shit, and he will praise a player if he plays well. And from a few of the games last season, where he was somewhat brutally honest, I think we're going to see similar this season. And I think that's going to be good and refreshing for the Luton fans. Anything to add to that, Nick?
Well, I think he will say quite a few times that we played terrific. It does seem to be one of his favourite catchphrases. But yeah, he doesn't tend to pull too many punches. Sometimes people say, how can you say he played terrific? But everyone sees games slightly differently. But I don't think he'll take any shit. Been a bit of discussion between a couple of people going on passion and everything else.
Tony asks if the squad's smaller this year. I would say it is, yes. But I don't agree with Nathan Jones saying he'll be done shopping. It's going to be a full month before the window closes. And he's going to he's getting to see the players and see how they perform. And I honestly think that there's still a few weak points in the squad at the moment, based on how they performed last season, based on the replacements and based on the friendlies. So I actually think that we might still see one or two more players coming in based on results. But of course, if we win today big and if we win against Villa, we go through storming the season. I have to chew my own words, but I don't think we're done shopping yet.
I don't think he's going to be looking to add anybody else apart from injuries at the moment, unless something goes drastically wrong, obviously result-wise. Stu?
No, I don't think so. I think we've got 27 players in now. Basically the first team, a replacement for each one of them, and then 5 others. That's a decent sized squad. We've got up to 40 as we've seen in previous years. That could only be a good thing.
I actually don't think we even have 27. We have a lot of the youngsters who have shirt numbers as well. So the squad's definitely smaller. And as I said, I'm just slightly concerned that we might be a bit undercovered in a few positions. But we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Next question I see is
Chris. Chris has dragged himself away from Dungeons and Dragons or whatever.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Oh, well, you can't fault the good Dungeons and Dragons sessions, you know. If you get that goblin square head in a D20 and you roll a 20 on the result and it's a critical hit and just chop that head straight off, it's just one of the most glorious things you can ever see.
Alex, keep up. Everyone wanders around the streets now, not playing that, but pointing their phone at random things, trying to throw random stuff to catch some random sort of imaginary figure, surely.
I'm level 8 in Pokemon Go, if that's what you're saying.
Oh my god!
I also found out if you actually sit I actually found out if you actually sit on the bus drives slow enough so you can actually hatch Pokemon eggs while on the bus. That's Go players out there.
The Luton Town International and Pokemon Go tip podcast.
Anyways, Chris's question, Nick.
I'm excited about the caliber of players who managed to pry away from top clubs. At the time, I was impressed that we managed to get McGinn when we did. But now with Ray and Gray, do you feel the club is finally moving in the right direction? I wouldn't say it's pry away. I'd say it's clubs do let players go if they're not going to break the breakthrough, sort of sometimes a little bit reluctantly. But something I think if players there, I mean, Ray obviously we've seen is a decent player. Gray was out on loan to League 2. I think he was fairly highly rated anyway, but I don't think realistically he was going to make the Premier League squad any time. But and I would say finally getting in the right direction. I don't know. I mean, we've signed players from the long league. We've signed ones from higher league before. It doesn't make any indication how they'll work out. But I do like the signings we've made so far this season, Chris. Stu.
Yeah, I don't think, as you said, we necessarily pry them away. I mean, possibly the exception of Danny Hill, where we picked him up even though he was getting an offer a new contract. Obviously, we possibly made him a better deal. Is that prying them away if he's out of contract? I don't know.
Nah, it's football.
Yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts. You know, we've lost players you thought we would have hoped to have kept since they've been signed from us before. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, I think the way we're going forward is everything off the pitch. That is the big thing. And
that's a crucial thing, isn't it? Stadium and the training ground and everything else, and that's where we're really moving forward.
Yeah, and that will really make a difference long term to the club as well, and the players we attract. Better training. I mean, for those who never went to Eli Way, I mean, you know, you're talking about a bunch of portal cabins on a couple of fields in the middle of the housing estate. Essentially, you know, it's not the ideal training ground for a professional football team. But the fact that we've managed to produce some fairly good talent from the youth teams there is a testament in a way, I suppose. It's why they had Dickie. The old grounds were working on the pitches up there. So they got used to playing on the decent pitch. But yeah, it's not an ideal training situation. If you come from a non-league club, though, it was bloody heaven, I'm guessing. You know, it wasn't the coal shed down the back of the manager's back garden, right? Yeah.
Alex, I'm going to let you answer the next one since you said it's going to be definitely mentioned.
I actually wanted to just say something there first. I see where Chris is coming from, but I actually don't think I'm actually a bit ambivalent about we've signed players from big clubs. We haven't really pried anyone away. We've just signed players who are seen as surplus requirements at bigger clubs, which is what a League 2 club normally does.
Sorry, Alex, can I take issue on bigger clubs? Brighton aren't really a bigger club. They've just got some, they're a higher league.
Well, historically, absolutely agreeing with you, but if we are putting on neutral, blank, not orange glasses...
We don't do that.
we just...
we are being unashamedly biased, Alex. Have you not learned by now?
Okay. Let's just say higher league clubs. Clubs that are in a higher league than we are. Instead, so I'll compromise on that. But anyways, my point is that the biggest signings we've had I would actually venture on to say the last 10 years was Andrew Gray, and we signed him for a pack of Marlboros, and probably a pair of used boots from a club that doesn't exist anymore. So,
when he was a big sign at the time, he was, and I think it was Brian Steen, one of Stu Hammond's favourite stories. Brian Steen was in the stands of watching Andrew Gray. I don't know why I signed this lad for, until he scores an overhead kick. But it turned out to be sort of, the signing was presumably our best of signing to sales ratio, but it was at the time it could be.
I'm still saying that him and Mark Tyler has been the best two signings we've done in the last 10 years.
Oh, come on, how can you say that when we signed Danny Spiller?
Yeah, well, true. Okay, I'll add him as well as a comedy factor, but these
Colin Samuel.
Players, okay, you're just gonna make me cry now if you keep throwing out names like that. Anyways, Tyler and Gray, probably the best two signings we've had in the last 10 seasons, and none of them came from clubs I would establish as being higher up the ladder than we are.
Hinkley and Peterborough, I think, were the two cups, but yeah, it's...
Yes, and Hinkley doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
They would bust, which caused interesting situations.
Okay. Right, next question, because I think we've gone over. So your missus needs to actually work out how to get YouTube to sort of, take long videos now, because we've got to have the hour.
YouTube takes 6 hours recordings now, so not a worry.
Okay. Our thanks to the technical director on this one, by the way, because I'm sure she did a much better job than the previous one. Alex, I'll let you take the next question, since you said it's going to get mentioned. No.
Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was asking a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep up.
I'm assuming you're asking about the Hartford question, or?
No, Bob's.
Oh, Bob's, but yeah. Found a new hair restore product for Nick. Yeah, we should definitely mention that. I think a hair restore product for Nick is definitely something that's on the card for this season.
Why would I want that?
I expect to see a surge up front, or up at least, and we really hope that these type of products will help Nick find his manhood again.
To be fair, probably about 80% of our fans could use one of those.
Yeah, well, to be fair, yeah, you're probably true on that, yeah.
So, we should be singling the slap-head Terry out for it alone.
Well, especially not when you're going to make such a piss poor job of doing it as well. So pause. What do we say?
But I definitely think you should negotiate a discount on that full body wax, because you don't have anything to do on top of your head, so
I'm going to
probably get a 20% discount.
No, I'm going to try an advert here. Shannon, who's asked a question there, says he's booked me in. My response was, fuck off, ain't happening. And we're going completely off football here. However, she does have a very hot Polish friend who is desperate to try waxing on a bloke. So if anybody wants to get naked for a hot Polish girl, apply through the site or anything else, and we'll put you in touch. Alex, you're flying over soon, aren't you?
That's something I've never thought I'd ever heard in my life. Hot and Polish girl in the same sentence.
Ooh. When did you become Stu?
I'm not fine. Purely for a podcast reporting, you agree?
Yeah. You should do an expose. You should do an expose on the full body wax culture in the UK. I think that could be like, we could just run it like a podcast special. You could have like one of those hidden microphones. Well, I'm not quite sure where you're going to hide your microphone, but anyways, moving on to the next question.
I think we better, yep.
Gavin, this Irish bloke keeps sending messages and asking questions. Gavin Daly asks, should Mick Harford be given until the end of the season when he inevitably takes over from Nathan Jones mid-season?
Do you think it's fair to actually suppose questions to people who don't know what they're talking about like this are insane?
Well, if anything,
he's some new wave generation like Thomas. Is Daly on a bit of a fishing trip there, right? He's floating his little coracle out into the Donegal Bay and cast his line over the side and hoping he's going to grab something.
I think he is, but unless he wants to come and edit and post the thing up, he can fuck off with that.
I have to go to humour him by answering slightly. I think this is the season when Nathan Jones is going to be tested, and we're definitely going to see what he's made of this season. And of course, if he doesn't deliver a good result this season, someone might look at him and maybe wanting to give him the sack. But to me, I actually think that unless the results are completely disastrous and we're looming just a few points above the relegation line come December, we should probably keep him on, yes. So I really don't think we should sack him this season. But then again, it all depends on the results, and this is a result-driven game, and it will always be about the results at the end of the day. If Mick Harford is to take over as manager, well, I'm not going to comment on that because Mick Harford is a legend for Luton Town. They've always been a legend for Luton Town, but who's taking over as a manager? Impossible to say, really.
I'm going to respond to Gavin as well. Stop fucking fishing.
He got a big one this time.
He got a Norwegian.
A Norwegian.
A Norwegian just harpooned a whale, that one.
That's below the belt. I don't see any more questions, and I don't think we got any on Twitter, so I think we're done with the fan questions. So,
hey, I think we're done as well.
All that's left is a prediction for tomorrow, I assume.
I'm going to predict I'm not going to be sorry by the time I get to the ground after a 4.5 hour journey, and I think we will scrape it by the odd goal. I'm going to go 1-0 Luton. Stu.
I'm going to go for a ridiculously wild 3-0 win.
Fucking hell. Alex?
I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw.
Pre-season optimism alive and well in Norway, Australia, whatever.
Alright. And by that, Nick, you'll have the honours.
Okay, and thanks for listening. Those who've actually got through the whole lot. Absolutely no professionals whatsoever, but you don't want that anyway, do you?
It was a funny story. I've been taking part in it. I tell you, I thought that connection a couple of times. Before we go, one thing: fruit in your alcohol, bad or no? I say bad.
Bad or no? Surely bad and no.
Bad and no. Yeah, absolutely. Number one fan, no fruit.
Alex.
Vegetables. Especially the vegetables.
I actually had no idea what you were saying.
Would you put fruit in your alcohol, Alex?
What?
Would you ever put fruit in your alcohol?
Fruit in alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah, fruit I actually, berries as much maybe, but not fruit.
You've changed.
One of the best beers I've ever had was raspberry beer.
No. We're talking about actually putting drops of fruit in there. So putting a strawberry in your beer or your wine or something, or a cherry.
Oh my God! No, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Good beer.
Who puts cucumber in a drink?
Why would you do that to put something healthy in something so lavishly unhealthy?
Ginny Bradwell.
Oh, Ginny, think otherwise. Change your ways. Jeez.
Yeah, Ginny, it's a no from me.
Yeah. Three big no's.
Like Parma Violet either.
Okay.
Okay, let's not get too intimate here now.
Okay. So thanks, guys, and hopefully we'll be.
The violet is, don't worry about it.
Okay, so thanks very much, guys, and we'll end the podcast here.